right, welcome back, watch fans. Got another amazing and exciting episode for you today. We're talking about these various Rolex grifters, these watch channels, all at war with each other. You got you got the Juan and Kino, you got those hubcap thieves that have been deported. And he's always telling you the watch market is dead. Then you got you got this guy Brendan Boswell, who's big time Rolex fanboy, talking about Rolex all day long. This is all this guy does, right? And he's fighting with Juan, and Juan is fighting with him. Then you got this Britt Pierce, who's this, I don't know, some weird character. I think is she Canadian or something? Is she in the UK? There's something weird with her. I don't know, but she's got a huge following. There's like 100,000 plus subscribers. I mean, she's like basically like a tomato can. And then you got a couple of these other random grift channels out there. And so Brendan Boswell, actually, listen, I actually like this guy. I mean, I don't know personally. I have no idea. He's pretty straightforward guy. Pretty straightforward. I mean, he's got kind of basic taste, very basic taste. Although he does have a Yachtmaster 40 with a two-tone, which is probably his best watch. No, it's a good choice. But let's see what Brendan Boswell has to say. Hang on a second. Let me put this on playback speed. Yeah, to save you some time here. Okay, let's see what this guy has to say. Let's see what these grifters. Okay, now the guy's got the dog in the picture. You got to get the dogs on video because people love dogs. That's how you get the views. You got to have dogs. Dogs get that. That's what gets the suckers to send money now. By the way, make sure you click the like and subscribe, upvote button, and also join the channel if you want to get access to our top secret content.
And get all your money back. You wouldn't believe me, would you? Hi guys, and welcome back to this special episode with myself and Daisy. She's lovely, isn't she? Daisy is about 7 years old. She's a Yorkie, she is. She doesn't look it because she's just had a little drink.
Who's got more fleas? Which dog has more fleas? The dog on the couch or that hubcap thief Juan? That Juan and Kino, that hubcap thief, and now he's spruiking a fake Cohiba cigars. Unbelievable, true. I mean, what an insult! What an insult! This guy. Well, I guess he's no longer in Miami. He was deported to La Isla de la Cucaracha. He claims to still be in Miami. He's actually in La Isla de la Cucaracha, but he's got a pocket full of fake Cohiba cigars on video, which is really an insult to Cubans in Miami. I mean, you don't walk around with a Gallabera shirt with a pocket full of fake Cohibas. You know what I mean? It's an insult. All right, let's watch it.
I'm trying to do a video talking about Rolex watches, and Daisy wants to get involved. So I said, Daisy, come on, come on, Daisy. So, do you have anything to say? Oscar, you can ask. Who's Daddy's boy?
This is how you get the views. You got to have the dogs.
Oscar's not interested. Let's just show you what Oscar's doing. Oscar, Oscar, what are you doing?
All right, we'll go.
If I told you to buy a luxury wristwatch, wear it for 5 years, and at the end of the 5-year period, just before the warranty runs out, sell that watch and get all your money back, you wouldn't believe me, would you? But it's the truth.
Okay, so basically, so the premise is he's doing a video saying, okay, if you buy a watch now. Yeah, this is a replay. It's a replay. Leave. Crappy. Go back to Bukyakistan where you belong. Go back to Bukyakistan where you belong. Exactly. Send money now. Look, this channel, again, costs millions of dollars to run. You got to send funds to keep it on the air. So this guy's his premise is, okay, if you buy any Rolex right now, you're going to get your money back in 5 years. Is this true or not? Okay, I'll tell you what. I think that's actually kind of false. I'll tell you two things. Number one is, first of all, look, this channel, unlike all these Chomo Stani channels, these Juan and Kinos, these grifters, these Kukistanis with their their deadbeat Rolex, their submariners or their Breguets or their bullshit watches. Look, this channel, our goal is one thing. The goal is to find watches that increase in value. I'm talking about an increase above the rate of inflation. See, these tomato cans, they don't understand about something called inflation. They don't understand about something called interest rates and opportunity costs, right? This is like a very basic. this is like a financially illiterate way of looking at the world, a very simplistic way, which is what everybody tells you. Oh yeah, you buy the Rolex and yeah, you get your money back after 5 years. Okay, first of all, false. Not every model you're going to get your money back. Okay, maybe half. Okay, and also you got to buy it right. That's even if you buy it right. Okay, then it's got to be the right model. Okay, then you could possibly get your money back. But what they don't tell you is also, first of all, if you put your money in the bank, you're going to be getting 5% compounded. Well, for now, for the moment, right? You got 5% compounded, right? You got interest. Excuse me. You got inflation. You got inflation, which is at least 5%. Don't let these grifters tell you it's not. It's at least 5% inflation, right? So, in order for us to find a watch that's worthwhile buying, it's got to increase, I think, over 10%, because also you got to factor in transaction costs. That's another thing these tomato cans don't tell you. You got opportunity cost, inflation, interest rates, and you got transaction costs. Okay, it's you got slippage, right? So I'm looking at a minimum. I'm saying, look, any type of watch that we really focus on this channel, the goal is you got to at least, I think, compound at 25% or more for 2-3 years, which means you're basically going to double or triple your money within, let's call it 3 to 5 years. Okay, double or triple. Ideally, double your money within 2 years. Okay, that's kind of the thing. Double your money with 2 years. That's my target. Triple your money. And if you look at some of the the watch we've talked about, they've done that. Patek Philippe lips, the Patek 3940, the what else we got? The owl. I mean, I can go down the list. Audemars Royal Oak. Okay. Juanita's probably, of course, this guy's watching. Of course, him and Kino. We got 10 people. Kino just joined. Kino just joined the channel. All right. So anyway, so let's go. Let's see what he has to say. Because so basically, look, this guy, his goal is, okay, I'm going to buy a tomato can watch and get my money back in 5 years. Basically, he's wrong. You're going to lose about 35 to 40% in 5 years because of, again, opportunity cost, interest, transaction cost. I'm looking at buying, let's call it a Patek Philippe. Let's say a 3940. Okay, you buy 3940 today. You buy it at the right price. You'll triple your money within 4 years for sure. Let's say you can get it for 80 grand today, full set. You'll get 250 within 3 to 5 years. How much is that? One of you guys has a HP12C. I'm sure one of you tomato cans has got a calculator. With a compound. I think it's about 25, 30% plus. All right, let's see what he's got to say.
Guys, recently I heard about a YouTuber. She did a video, and in that video she said, "Why?"
Which video do you think? Which YouTuber? Now the thumbnail at the top. Who does that look like? Which YouTuber do you think he's talking about? Who's that beautiful lady at the top left, at the top right?
You shouldn't buy a Rolex Explorer. And I believe she was promoting a load of micro brands. I'm pretty sure within that promotion, she was pushing a brand above all others. And that's what they do, guys. These YouTubers are pushing all these micro brands, which are a total waste of your money. I believe she said, don't buy an Explorer because these boxes are much better. And they're not, guys. They might look nice, but they're basically worthless.
Okay. Now, let me bring that thumb on the screen so we know who he's talking about, right? So there's grifters out there. Okay, we know that there's these grifters out there. Okay, you got the grifter of Venice. You got the grifter of Venice, and then you got the Dirty Sanchez brothers. You got the Dirty Sanchez brothers. That's what's his name? You got the fake aristocrat, Dirty Sanchez. You got there's about five of these bros on YouTube with the Dirty Sanchez mustache, right? There's a guy in the UK. He's got the Dirty Sanchez in a baseball cap. Then you got the Bridge and Tunnel Dirty Sanchez guy, Theo and Homo. You got the nose. You got the Piccolino. You got the Pinocchio nose. There's a whole bunch of these Dirty Sanchez guys, right? They're all doing the mustache, the Dirty Sanchez mustache. And of course, he's talking about Britt Pierce, right? The Britt Pierce, the griftress of Belgravia, or I don't know where she lives, but she's somewhere in London, I guess, somewhere, I don't know. Anyway, she's another griftress. I don't know how she blew up on YouTube. Maybe the editing. I don't know. The algorithm likes her or something. You got that one in Germany. What's that? Jenny L, who was kind of cute. Like 5 years ago, and she really hit the wall hard. That Jenny L. This one slammed into the wall from birth. This one like dropped on her head, I guess, from birth. But this what the hell's her name? Britt Pierce is some like I don't know. She's some Canadian. All these Canadians, by the way, grifters. Okay, and she migrated to the UK. She snuck her way in from Canada, and I guess she married some wealthy guy. And she's sitting at home making videos. It's hard to get. Yeah, I mean, her husband is buying like Aquanauts, Royal Oaks, whatever, and she's talking about like okay. Anyway, she's basically spruiking microcap. She's basically spruiking shitter brands. Okay. She's trying to sell you guys shitter watch brands, just like the Grifter of Venice, the Oisin O'Malley, the Grifter of Venice, the guy selling garbage watches. He's trying to scam you. That's right. He's trying to literally fuck you in the ass. Okay, let me see if I'm being clear or not. He's trying to fuck you in the ass by having you buy these shitter watches that are worthless quartz or some sort of garbage Chinese movements that are pure trash. You buy these watches for $500, $1,000. In 5 years, you'll have something worth 25 cents, and the watch will probably break. But even worse, you're going to have 5 years of basically being a peasant. Not even a peasant. You're going to be like worse than a peasant. Okay. Anyway, she's telling you to buy these shitter brands while her husband is buying her Rolex, etc. But for you, the peasants, let them eat Frollo, whatever. I don't know, Zero West or whatever shitter watch brands, her and the Grifter of Venice and Squally with the fake aristocrat, whatever these guys are spooking.
Fool's gold, if you ask me. A Rolex is almost like liquid cash. Let me explain. COVID-19 kicked in. The world went.
Okay, let's see if this explanation is true or not.
I had a Rolex Coke, and I reached out to a grey market dealer. I didn't know about grey market dealers. He said he was a trader, and he gave me £7,100 for my Coke. I know it then went massively high, and it's suddenly getting back down to those figures now, guys. But at the time, I got fair market value for the watch. My dogs keep interrupting me. Daisy is now on the floor. Oscar is showing his bum to the camera, and I'm going to have to start this whole cut again. The reason for this video, very simple. I want to protect you guys from wasting your hard-earned money.
That's right.
In the United Kingdom, you can walk into any Rolex AD and pick up an Explorer 40, an Explorer 36, an Explorer 2 Polar.
Okay, why is he spruiking these Explorer watches? Now, here's what's interesting. These Explorers, he's saying that this is the watch. You buy this watch in 5 years, you'll get your money back. In other words, the premise is if you buy any of these Explorers, which, by the way, are that's like mega peasant vibes. The Explorer is total peasant material, okay? You buy that watch, it's basically birth control. You know why? Because you buy that watch, no woman will ever want to have sex with you. If you wear any Rolex Explorer, I don't care if it's Explorer, well, any of them, okay? It's basically a birth. It's the best birth control. It's a very expensive birth control. I mean, it's like, this is what it is. Just the Explorer. I mean, these are like shitter watches. You buy a watch like this, you're telling the world you're a tomato can. I mean, you're basically going to be a loser if you buy. Seriously, I mean, I'm not even joking now. I mean, we're not even kidding. This is the biggest garbage. But is he correct that if you buy this, you're better off buying that than buying some garbage? Let's see.
And black dial, any smooth bezel, they just even an air king. And that shouldn't be right, guys. You should still have a tiny bit of weight for these watches, because these watches are like liquid money on your wrist. I guarantee you, if you bought a Rolex today and you wore it on your wrist every day for 4.5 years, and you then decided to have like a different Rolex, you can take that wristwatch into any grey market dealer and he'll give you all of your money back. He will.
Okay. Is it true in 5 years you believe that? Because, okay, by the way, things are changing a lot. The market really is changing. It's changing between now what it was, etc. And specifically with Rolex, okay. I think the market is actually two things. Number one is the production really is increasing dramatically. They're really stepping it up. Number two is, yes, you've had a new range of buyers come in, but again, if you're watching this channel, you also know that the newbies, okay, there was a big influx of newbies. You got a bunch of these tomato cans and crayon eaters, window lickers that flooded the market in 2001. We're talking about the guys like the O'Cuck, these other mooch bums, guys like the people who watch Archie Luxury, that talk about the JJ Bukiak channel, all these guys. But here's the thing. People they finally got whatever watch they want, right? But also a lot of those people who had a little bit of sophistication, maybe they bought a Rolex, but now they've moved beyond it, right? They've gotten into other things. They've expanded their taste. Again, 5 years, things happen. People usually grow, right? They usually have some growth. I mean, can you imagine this? Who buys this for 12 grand? That's a lot of money, no? There's so many better watches out there. Unbelievable. Look at this. 1991. 5 grand. Can you imagine this? 5 grand. Can you get better deals than this? Are there better alternatives? Absolutely. I mean, this is literally, this is tomato. It's made of literally tomato can metal. I mean, it looks so cheap from a distance. You could tell how nasty and vinyl this watch is. But two things are happening. Number one is the people are coming in now. They're expanding, going to other brands. And also, there's actually a lot more choice. At the end of the day, also, there's a lot more choices in pre-owned watches from other brands, not just Rolex. So I don't think this premise is going to be true, that if you buy a Rolex Explorer or any of the shitter brand, any of the like low-end shitters he's talking about right now, that you're going to get your money back in 5 years. That's not true. I think you will get your money back if you buy a Yachtmaster 40, even I mean, I don't want to say a Submariner, but if you buy, we'll go into it. We'll go into it in a second. But again, he's not factoring in inflation, opportunity cost, things like that. He's giving you a very, very basic view of the world. But he's basically right if you're talking about like, what would have been like sort of the kind of the bread and butter. I was going to say the Submariner and GMT. The problem is, I don't think these new Submariner with the ceramics are going to be desirable in 5 years. I think they're going to come out with other models. There's something about the ceramic just is wrong. The cases are fucked up. They're really ugly watches. They really are. I'm not knocking them. They really are like misshapen. And it's kind of like the Day-Date 2. When Rolex came out with the Day-Date 2 for a couple of years, it was like a 41 millimeter or 42 millimeter Day-Date. It was a monster. It was a monstrosity. They dropped it quickly because it was disgusting, like the Yachtmaster 2. So I think they're going to go back to a different design. But if you're talking about like a traditional, pre-ceramic Submariner or a GMT, you'll get your money back for sure. If you buy it used, at the right price, you're going to make your money back for sure.
To enjoy the Rolex and get all your money back. There are YouTubers vlogging terrible watches to people on YouTube. They're hiding them behind BS stories. Recently, Brett Pierce
That's right. That's the griftress of London.
Everybody not to buy an Explorer, buy all these garbage watches instead. And it infuriated me. It really did. And I'm going to explain why it infuriated me. An Explorer is much better than any of the watches that she was promoting. And I guarantee you,
he really loves this. By the way, speaking of tomato cans, I was taking a walk. I went to a restaurant here and I ran in. Believe it or not, I actually ran into one of these punters live, actually in person, in the real world for the first time ever in Vegas. Guess which punter I actually ran into on the streets? That's right, literally on the street, licking windows. Actually, no. I walked into the Bucherer, which is the Bucherer, that's the now Rolex owns a Bucherer at Caesars. I'm going in there because I was at the Palm and I pop in there. I'm going through just looking through what they have, right? And who do I run into? I'm leaving. I'm walking out. I'm walking. By the way, as I'm walking, I'm going to tell you the worst part of it. Okay, but as I'm walking out, some window licker says, "Are you watch reporter? Are you watch reporter?" And sure enough, There we go. Duke Davidson. That's right. I ran into this guy, Aussie expat, this illegal migrant who needs to be deported back to Bukiakistan and Chomostan. Okay, actually, not. He's actually Bukiakistan and Kokistan. He's really that's his country. Actually, okay. Well, very nice guy. Very nice guy. I have nothing bad to say about him. Listen. I think the guy's I don't know what he does. I'm sure he's a very productive citizen, and he's not, stealing from the taxpayers like a lot of these. Like, for example, the Puerto Rican hubcap thief Juan and Kino. Those guys are sitting at home waiting for the welfare checks to come in every month. This guy, the Australian guy, I think he's got some grift. He's doing some sort of business. So, I don't think he's on the dole here, which is good. I want people to be productive. I don't want people putting their hands in my pockets as a taxpayer, right? So, God bless him. The only problem with this guy is he's got terrible tomato can taste. I mean, this guy's got he must have shit. I think we did a video about. He's got like probably 20 watches, which is way too many. All modern, all Rolex. Like literally, he may have an Omega, but it's all modern shitter Rolex. It's all this garbage. Like he probably has. It's all redundant. He's got like probably 3 Explorers, maybe like one is white dial, one is black dial, one is maybe a two-tone, or he's got I don't think he has a Yachtmaster. I don't think he's got that level of high taste. He's got like Daytona, this all modern shit, mass production Rolex shit, and he's there. I'm leaving. And he's there he's got like talking to 2 of these griftresses there, these sales ladies. And finally we get some money. Finally, we're getting some money from the punters. And he's got a can of Pellegrino water in his hands. That's right. He's got a little can of Pellegrino. They give you a little can of Pellegrino. Usually that used to have bottles, but they don't have this place. They don't give you bottles. They give you a little thin can of the Pellegrino water. And nobody offered me any water. And so he's got the water. Look at this. There we go. He's lifting the peasants into the aristocracy. And he is, thank you to Duke Davidson. Which peasant did you gift the membership to? Now, so he's there. He's talking. Okay, but he's okay. Oh, we start. Okay. So by the way, I'm walking out. I'm irritated. I'm pissed off. I'm really pissed off. I'll tell you why I'm pissed off. I'm pissed off because I'm looking at, and by the way, would I ever buy anything from that store? No, fuck no. Would I buy a modern Rolex at list? Probably not at this point, because I think they're all essentially, literally all of them are heading down. Like literally, and again, I'm not a flipper. I'm not buying a watch to make $1,000 or to make. I mean, I don't think it's clever to make even, what am I going to flip a watch for $2,000 or what? It's just, I got better things to do with my time, right? So, are there watches I'm interested in? Yeah. Well, come on, Green Rush. This is, I don't know. You gotta look at her up close. I don't know. You better, I think you need to clean your screen. But anyway, so I was there. I'm looking at, they have a case of used watches, right? And this is one of these stores. By the way, I do have to say one positive thing about the Bucharest store. I've gone there a couple of times because it's very convenient. It's a nice, clean place. And, like I had a couple of watches. I wanted to get them pressure tested. I wanted to get a watch pressure tested, make sure, it's not going to leak water. So I bought them watches twice, and they were very, very, very quickly. They did it very, they'll do it as a courtesy, right? I mean, and they did it. So I appreciate that. Whereas, for example, watches of Switzerland, the one at the Wynn, you go to the Rolex place, they're going to tell you some excuse. Oh, they can't. Oh, this. Oh, no, I'm busy. Oh, we can't. They can't do anything. They cannot do anything at that Rolex What are they fucking doing there? They got a watch, I don't know, whatever you call it, service, watchmaker, a guy sitting in the booth there in the back. I don't know what they do. They're not going to do anything. They can't even punch a hole in a strap on a Rolex. I mean, they can't do anything. They're worthless. But the Bucher, they're very professional. They really are. Okay. But I'm looking there. They got a case full of the used watches, the used Rolex, whatever, tomato can stuff, right? And of course, listen, all their watches, they jack them up. They have obviously they have high prices for pretty much everything. Are going to be above whatever you're going to find online, and they're going to talk. Oh well, you buy from us, you can trust us. Believe me, you can trust other people too. And the AP. No, the AP, the owl, the Royal Oak owl, I would not put in the water. I actually, that watch, I did get pressure tested because there was some sort of a little bit of oxidation on some of the numbers, a little bit of oxidation. And I thought maybe there's a leak. Apparently there is not, but I'm not taking any chances with Royal Oak, Audemars Piguet, Nautilus. You don't believe this stuff about you can't really swim with a Nautilus, okay? You think you can. They're aquatic themed watches that are not waterproof. You really don't want to take a chance. Anyways, I'm looking, and actually they had a watch, which I was surprised they had, which was they had a date 36 on the strap. What's the ones they discontinued? The ones on the strap, which had that little kind of end link, I think they call it, or the chocolate dial. It was the rose gold chocolate dial on the strap. Beautiful watch, and it should be like a $20,000 watch maximum. They're asking 26 because why? Certified pre-owned. Okay, whatever. I just want to say, can I see it? Because I mean, listen, this girl is all over me because she sees I'm an aristocrat. She sees I'm wearing the King Tut. I was actually, it's funny. I was wearing the King Tut because I had to, I take it out every once in a while. I just had it on. So she sees the King Tut. This guy must be an aristocrat, right? Because this is the rehaut through the clasp. It's not the basic bitch one. It's not the basic tomato can. This is the rehaut, the engraved bezel. It's not the ceramic, which is again basic bitch Rolex. Ceramic Submariner is basic bitch material. So she knows she's got a real, serious sucker. Collector. Well, anyway. So yeah, I said, okay, let me see. Okay, anyway, I'm about to leave. Out of the corner of my eye, I notice the watch I actually have been looking for, which is the day-date meteorite dial. That's right, they had a day-date meteorite dial, which, by the way, is dropping like literally, like by the minute. They're all dropping, okay, and they're going to be below. They're already below list. They really are. All these day-date models, they're all below list right now. Don't believe this bullshit. They're again, if you factor in taxes, you can get up every day-date on the secondary market below basically less than an AD. It's not worth going to the AD. Okay, and I'm talking about just for that. I'm not everything else, right? So I see the day-date, the meteorite dial, and I say, oh, can I see that? Because she's saying, "Oh, can I show you anything else? Can I show you anything else? Can I get you water?" I said, "No." It's like, but then I see that. I said, "Oh, let me see that." I'm thinking, okay, I bet it's going to be probably a decent price because, if they're selling it new for 55, and this is used slider condition, I don't know, it's going to be less, right? No, it's certified pre. So she goes, "Oh, we have to take you into the back room. We have to take you into the VIP room to show you that watch. You can't just put her on your wrist right here. We have to take you into the VIP room, the champagne room, the champagne room at the strip club." And so I say, "Wow, how much could the watch be?" This is not like, this is, you got, she goes, "Oh, okay." Then she looks, she goes, guess how much they're asking for the watch? 86 grand, 86,000 is what they're asking. 86,000. So here's the crazy thing, right? Here's how corrupt this is. So this is owned by Rolex. They own the whole thing, right? So Rolex is selling you a brand new watch for 55 grand, right? At the same time, they're selling the same exact used watch for 86,000. Right now, what prevents them from basically taking the new watch and just putting it in the back and saying, "Hey, it's now it's 86 grand." So I think what they're doing is, and this is basically it's the maybe the display models, those models that were display are now going in as used, and they're trying to get more money for them than the new. It's insulting. And I tell her, look, I said, listen, that's a crazy price. That's ridiculous. She starts telling me the Ferrari thing. Oh, well, if you try to buy a Ferrari, now obviously she realized I'm a Ferrari customer, right? Actually, I haven't even followed the models of Ferrari since like 25. I mean, I lost track after the whatever not the three. What was it? The the Maranello, the one with the scoop of the hood. 2000 after like early 2000, I wasn't interested in that stuff. I mean, I actually was looking for one. I did want to buy one like 328. I was looking for a 328 or the Maranello, but I never got to the point where I actually got into it for a test drive. I was actually shopping, but it was like interested. The prices were reasonable, of course, and they went up. But so I have no idea what they're. To me, they're all the same looking cars or whatever. I wouldn't buy one today. You couldn't give me one for free because I don't like the vibration, the whole thing. I'm not into that garbage, right? I want something comfortable that can also go fast. But anyway, so she's telling me, yeah, well, if you buy a Ferrari, you can't even get a new Ferrari. You got to buy one used, and the used one costs more than a new one because of blah, blah, blah. And that's the same thing with the CPO. So I don't know if that's true or not. I'm sure some of you guys would know better, but, but it's, I was wearing a day date. It was the day date 36, the day date. The day date. Listen, a lot of these people, I don't know, who knows? I don't know. Yeah, it's probably, could be one of these gay guys. There's a lot of these gay guys, they get married for appearances and it's like a beard and, could be the case. I don't know. These Brits, no pun intended, but a lot of these Englishmen, they're all kind of gay. Yeah, so it's kind of like a thing you get married for like, for just for appearances, for social whatever. Anyway, so she's asking 86 grand for that watch. I told her, listen, that's ridiculous. These are like, I told her straight up. I mean, like, by the way, I'm not like, I have no problem speaking my mind. I'm not like shy about like, giving people my opinion. Okay. I'm not like polite. Oh, okay. I'm not. I said, listen, that price is ridiculous. I mean, you online, these things are like, already below your list price. Okay. Your list price is 55 grand. I told her your list price is 55 grand. How can you be selling this for, I mean, it's insulting to be selling this for 86 grand. And even online, the used ones are 56 grand. Used right now. You go online, you see two of them 50s. And by the way, they're dropping every day. Okay, I guarantee you that watch is going to be 45,000 by September. I guarantee you. I'll make you a bet. I'll make you guys a bet. We're going to see day-date meteorite dollars at 45,000 by September. Definitely below 50. Definitely well below 50. These are all watches that are being pumped out. All of them. Every one of them is being pumped out in mass production. Okay, so and as I'm walking out, I run into the Bogan, the Aussie expat, and I told him the same thing. I told him what happened. I recounted my tale, and which did not please the sales lady who was next to him. Well, there were two of them there. As soon as I gave him my peace of mind, like one of them just walked away. She realized, okay, this guy's not a customer, and she realized, okay, she's, by the way, very smart because listen, these people are they're there to sell, right? So the other one realized, like, this guy is not a sucker. We're not gonna scam him. So she left to look for other suckers. And the one that the Aussie expat was dealing, she was stuck on, but she was like, oh no, she was also telling me some story. Oh no, this is, how do you know that the watches are real when you buy them online? And I think the Aussie expat guy also, I think he believed that thing. Oh yeah, how do you know that they don't switch the dial? Well, believe me, if I'm buying the watch, I'm going to make sure, okay, I'm buying it from, more or less legitimate people. And there are some people, for example, even on Chrono 24, that's right, your Chrono 24, which are selling Fugazi watches, okay? These guys, there are guys who sell Fugazi watches. To do a meteorite dial with the baguettes is, it's a little difficult. It can be done. It's a little difficult because you got to get two things right. Number one is you got to get the meteorite slice. You got to get that right. And you have to get it, because the way they do it, they treat them with acid. They go through a whole process. So that's not easy to do. Forget about getting the meteorite. You can get the meteorite, but to get it, it's not easy, okay? Then you got to get the baguettes, which are going to, it's difficult to do, okay? It's not like a vintage watch, or the vintage watch where you put in a vintage, where you put in a malachite dial, okay? The malachite dial, you can get a beautiful slice of malachite, and that's probably easier to do. That's right. She's a Canuck. These fucking low-life Canadians. Yeah, she's a low-life Canadian, aka the fifth. I don't want these people to be the fifth. I actually don't. I don't want these people to be able to cross the border because they're all going to come here like hordes of cockroaches. Let me tell you something. I don't want Trump making Canada the 51st state, because then they're going to be like the Puerto Ricans, okay? The Puerto Ricans are basically a territory. They're not a state. and they flood the country. They flood the country with the cockroaches. They come here. They steal hubcaps. They come with these Fugazi watch channels. They steal marble tile in Miami, and then they collect welfare. They're stealing taxpayers' money. I mean, Puerto Rico is basically a third world shithole country. They should be independent. Okay, that's right. Independencia. Okay, I want Puerto Rico on their own. Okay, cut them loose. Cut them loose. Really, why is America? Why is Puerto Rico a territory of America? I mean, it's not right. It really isn't. First of all, we have no need for Puerto Rico. It's a third world shithole country. Okay, we don't want these Puerto Ricans here. And imagine you take on Canada as a 51st state. You're gonna have all those third world migrants, all those low life. By the way, the Canadians are like, imagine the Australians. The Canadians are like even worse than the Australians. The Canadians are like pasty Australians. That's what they are. They're all passive aggressive. They're all whiny bitches. They're all snitches and bitches. Okay, all of them. What Canada should be is a giant prison state. In other words, what Trump should do is just turn it into a giant prison factory where they're all going to make iPhones and whatever. It's going to be like a Chinese prison state, okay, for making cheap electronics and sneakers, Nike sneakers. They'll make Louis Vuitton boxes for Archie Luxury. That's what's going to be made in Canada. Don't let those lowlifes come across the border. We don't want them here. They're scum. They're scum of the earth. There's nothing. Believe me, BC. Nothing. It's a shithole place. Shithole. Anyway, back to grifters. So she's gonna leave her husband to you. Okay, it's, yes, I'm very demure in my opinions. Oh, she was showing her cousin. I think her husband's got some nice. No, her husband's got some nice watches. She's got what do you call it? He's got I think a Royal Oak, an Aquanaut. He's got some nice watches. She's not showing you all the watches, by the way. And by the way, she's like a dumb bimbo. Seriously, she's like, I don't want to be like, oh, you're sexist. Oh, you're sexist. No, she's a fucking dumb bimbo. I mean, that's, a bimbo is the male equivalent of a tomato can, okay, or crayon eater, okay. I don't know what to tell you. She's a crayon eateress, whatever. She's like a knucklehead. Like, you know what she reminds me of? She reminds me of like a Tony. Who's this guy? I see this guy that pops up on my feed. I literally can't watch his videos, but the algorithm keeps feeding me this guy. Timepieces with Tony. You got this Tony timepieces guy. This is like a middle-aged elderly man sitting in a baseball cap or wool caps indoors, Every week, this guy's buying a new Rolex. I don't know. This guy must be a billionaire. I mean, he's sitting in some sort of shitty apartment with like cheap drapery, again with some sort of baseball cap or cap on his head, and every week he's unboxing a new watch. He's all covered in tattoos, and I don't know what I don't understand this guy. I mean, again, this guy's like I don't know. The guy's probably like 60 years old, covered in tattoos. Like he looks like your high school algebra teacher. This guy looks like a fucking algebra teacher covered in tattoos with a baseball cap. I guess he's trying to be cool, and he's unboxing a watch every week. I don't understand this. How this guy like must be, I don't know. Maybe he's like a male prostitute. I have no idea. No idea. Oh yeah, then there's Blondie. That's the Blondie. That's the drunk. That's the drunk. I think she's got a grift where she found a sugar daddy on one of these. I think it's who's that guy? Apparently, it's some guy named Golden Baba. Golden Baba, some tomato can. Golden Baba apparently is giving her money. He's by the way, the Blondie. I do have to say, in her defense, the Blondie has a really good. She does good video. She has a good personality. She really has very good video personality. She could be making real money. She's got a real talent. I actually offered her money. I was going to hire her to do this show. That's right. Instead of me dealing with you tomato cans, I was going to have Blondie do this, wearing a low-cut dress. And because I had a whole plan. And she never got back to me. But Blondie actually is legitimate talent. Now, Blondie knows nothing about watches, but she's engaging. She knows how to and especially with a live stream, it's not easy. It's not easy doing a live stream. So Blondie is actually very talented. I'm very disappointed that she did not take me up on my offer, because I was willing to pay her real money. I mean, instead, she's become basically a prostitute for for various these various punters in the community. She's going from one to the other. She's getting passed around like a cheap hoe. Allegedly. I don't know. I'm not saying it. I'm not saying she's a professional, but allegedly something is going on. Allegedly. It's all alleged. It's all alleged. Very high mileage. Very high mileage. And I think she does like to have a little bit of she likes to have a gin and tonic or 5. Anywhere between 1 and 5 gin and tonics, from what I understand. Beefeater, I think, is her favorite. That's why her and Oishin, can you imagine this? That's why she went. I mean, she took a flight on her own dime to visit the Grifter of Venice. Can you imagine those two drunks? I mean, that's like she thought she'd be like, F. Scott Fitzgerald. F. Scott Fitzgerald was a drunk, and his wife was a drunk, and that was the whole thing with that was the famous literary marriage. That was I think Blondie thought that she was going to be living the 1920s, lifestyle, the American expatriate lifestyle in Venice, with this other grifter, F. Scott. He was going to be her F. Scott Fitzgerald. And by the way, I got to say, with the grifter of Venice, the Oishin, he's also very, he's a great storyteller. He's a very good storyteller. I mean, the guy's basically a tomato can. He knows like nothing. I mean, the guy's he's like a mile wide and a millimeter deep. I mean, he knows like a little bit about a lot of things, but once you start talking, you realize this guy knows shit. I mean, it's like he's basically like a typical drunk you meet in the bar. They they talk about different shit. They could talk about blah blah. They get and then you realize, what the fuck am I just wasted 20 minutes with this guy. Like this channel, you guys are watching 44 minutes. We're talking about nothing, and I'm not even drinking yet. That's right, unbelievable, but true. So let's see. Okay. Anyway, so let's get back to this. Anyway, so what was I talking about? I was saying that I ran to a tomato can, a window licker, a real life window licker. The Aussie expat was a booker. I guess he was licking windows there. But I think what he does, I think he goes there like regularly. He knows those people very well. Like he's doing the thing. He's like, sucking up to them and blah, blah, blah. But and the thing is this, the advantage that he has is he comes across very sincere. I think that's his advantage. He comes across like very sincere. like he's like, oh yeah, I'm like very, sincere, right? Like, oh yeah, he comes across like very, like, I don't know, like a tomato can, like where I think I come across in person a little bit like, what's the word? I don't come across sincere in person. Although I am, pretty much. I mean, I was gonna say more or less honest. I mean, nobody's 100% honest. That's true. Anybody who tells you they're honest is a liar. I give people full disclosure. I don't lie about things. I don't uh, give things under false pretenses. Um, but this guy comes across very sincere, so they think, oh yeah, this guy, like, he's a good sucker for us. He's the type of guy that they like as customers, right? Like, they don't want people knowing too much, right? They want people like who are mushrooms. You keep them in the dark and you feed them lots of shit, right? So anyway, let's get back to this guy.
And in the watches she was promoting, a company had
By the way, just to be clear, I have nothing against the guy. I think he's a very nice guy. Again, just his watch collection is horrible. The Aussie expat watch collection, all those Rolex modern shitters, is basically what you do not want to do. Okay, you do not want to do it. Now, I think he'll probably, his collection is more or less safe. I think he's going to probably break even if he has to sell everything tomorrow. He's going to take a hit on probably some of the watches. Some of the watches he's going to make, it's probably going to be like a 50-50. He'll probably actually make a little bit of money because some of them, like if they were like Daytonas, he got a retail, they're probably up. He's probably down on the basic. Well, yeah, it's probably like a small profit, but not when you include opportunity cost and also interest rates. That's right. Your money could be earning money in the bank. And this guy, here's the crazy thing. This guy, I mean, he was on with Archie. I think I tuned in with Archie the other day. He was on with Archie. I was like, and I think this guy was saying he doesn't own a house. He rents. This guy rents in Vegas. And I think he's been here for a while. So I was like, shit, this guy should have bought, like, literally, like, you should have been buying 5 years ago. I mean, actually, 5 years ago, I don't. He's been here for a while, I think. And interest rates were cheap. But this guy has good credit. I guarantee you that Aussie expat guy has good credit because he's like an anal guy. He's very anal. That guy pays all his credit card bills on time, and what do you call it? So he probably could have gotten like a 2% loan mortgage, and he'd be up. He would have bought a house for let's call it I don't know. He's got basic taste, so maybe 400 grand. You could have gotten a nice house. Nice house, 400 grand. Today it would be worth 800 grand. Or 700 grand, right? Depending on the neighborhood, right? Instead, he bought Rolex. I mean, like, and Archie was telling, even Archie, even the Bogan of Brisbane knows, listen, if you can buy real estate, buy real estate. Don't be a tomato can with, and by the way, with Vegas real estate, you buy it, and even if well, back then anyway, okay, you don't want to live in it, you move, you could rent it out. There's a very liquid rental market for homes. You could rent it out and you'll make money. You'll be cash flow positive even. You'll make 5%. So this guy, I don't know, something doesn't connect. Maybe that's why he's got shitter watches. But anyway,
giving her one of them watches for free on the basis that she discussed that watch on her channel, and if that watch is within the first 4 to 5 minutes, she's getting paid.
She's getting paid. That's right.
She's not being honest. They're not even being honest.
She's lying to you.
That's why my channel exists. I'm going to give you some figures and numbers that's going to blow you away, but they're all the truth, guys. And let's not do the flash watches. Let's not do the back girls, which are worth loads of money the minute you buy them. Let's do the watch she's telling you not to buy. This watch that I'm going to tell you is like buying liquid gold on your wrist. You could wear the watch I'm going to tell you to buy for 4.5 years straight. You take it into any grey market dealer and you can get all your money back. I guarantee it.
Okay, here comes the math.
It's not just flim flam. Listen to these calculations, these percentages that I take time to work out for you. The current MSRP.
Okay, hang on.
6,700.
He's going to give some.
I have to double check it. I thought, geez, that's a lot of money.
Okay, he's going to give some. Watch these numbers. He's going to give you the basic tomato can rationale, which I think kind of, I mean, in theory, it's theoretical, but let's see what he's got to say.
Money for an Explorer 40. Surely it was just under 6.5 a couple of months ago. It was, guys. It was just under 6,500 just before Christmas. Rolex is now doing 2 price increases year in, year out, and most of the watches are going up by 4%. That means over a year, the Explorer will go up by 8% year in, year out. If we're conservative and we average it out to 6% a year, that means the next price increase for an Explorer 40 will be a whopping £405. So in 2026, the watch will be £7,155. It will be. In 2027, the watch will be £7,584. In 2028, the watch will be £8,040. And in 2029, the watch will be £8,520. It will, guys. That means the watch over a 4-year period has gone up by £2,000. Crazy, guys. Absolutely crazy. Crazy good. And that's just a basic Rolex. If that watch was kept for the 5 years, the MSRP of that watch is going to be £9,032. That watch has gone up by £2,282 over the 5 years you own the watch, which is a growth value to purchase of 25%. There is no ISA currently.
Okay, so he's saying that the exit price, right? Your exit price roughly is going to be $9,000 or something. Okay, so what is it? What is it compounding? Again, I think it's about roughly 5%. And again, one of the reasons I've said the good thing about Rolex is, yes, if you buy, more or less a decent one, you're talking about like, because again, Rolex does have some weird dogs. They do have some dogs. And also the precious metals. Okay, precious metals. For example, the day date is notorious for really not doing anything. The day date is like notorious for basically being a dead money watch. You buy it, 30% below retail, and you're going to be lucky to, basically get your money back. You'll get your money back, but you're not going to make any money. We had an outlier event with COVID where everything just went crazy. But today, even the day date, all the precious metals, they're all going back to that dead money status, which means you can only buy them 30% off, 20% off, at least 20% off, and don't expect to get your money back. Maybe a Daytona, but even still, the Daytona precious metals is not going to do well. I think though the white gold, blue dial, that one could be good because it's cheap enough. But outside of that, the day date is like the ultimate dead money watch. Even though they're making some beautiful ones. I really like some of the new ones. There's a couple of 36 ones they have with the baguettes on them, which are like, wow, it's a beautiful watch. But I'm waiting for them to drop. Anyway, so what's the mistake? So here's the mistake he's making. Number one is I'm not that sure that the Explorer is going to be desirable. It was never a desirable watch. It was always tomato can material. So this watch on the screen is basically a shitter. Yes, you are much better off buying this watch than buying any of the shitter watches that Britt Pierce or the Oisin O'Malley, the Grifter Venice, or the Urban Gentry Dirty Sanchez guy is trying to sell you. Okay, all that stuff is absolute trash. Don't buy these micro brand shitters. He's completely right. Brandon is 100% right about that, okay? Don't buy these micro brand shitters. If you're going to tie up your money, do this. But I would buy a used watch. I would buy a used Rolex, and I would not buy this. I'd buy like a Turnograph. There's so many better watches out there. Fuck. I mean, actually, hang on a second. Rolex. Let me tell you what you can get. I mean, why would you want to buy a new watch? Why would you want to buy a new watch, right? Hang on a second. Let me show you. Again, this is like, I'm not here to be a fan of this, but look at this. So this is the Explorer 2. I mean, again, this is the previous generation, which I think is what, the 36? I don't know. Is it 36? No, it's like what, 40 millimeter. 40 millimeter. The new one is bigger. The new one is too big. This is a normal size. And this is the right size, by the way. Kind of a cool watch. It's the red hand. That red hand is, it looks good. Let's see the back, the clasp. So this is the problem. You got the tomato can clasp, cheap clasp, nasty and vicious. That's the problem. You got the cheap, nasty, vicious clasp. So the new ones have, the good clasp. I think they have the micro adjustment also. I did look at it. It gets all stretched out, whatever. But, you buy this watch for, let's call it $6,000 today. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you're going to get your money back. You'll get like probably in 5 years, $8,000. I think it'll be $8,000. You know why? because you're going to have, well, two things happen. With Rolex, you have that, yeah, the chronograph is great, and they're going up in value. What happens with Rolex is, again, what Brendan, his theory is that because Rolex raises the price every year by like 5% or more. Actually, they're doing 2 increases a year. 2 increases a year they're doing now. 2 increases per year they're doing these days. That's how greedy they are. 2 increases. God forbid they don't make as much as they could. I mean, these bastards, right? I mean, they're a nonprofit. Okay, that's right. They're a nonprofit. Unbelievable. They claim to be a charity. That's what they claim to be. For feeding, I don't know, Swiss orphans of watchmakers, some bullshit. You tell me that's not a beautiful watch. Tell me that's not a beautiful watch. Look at this. You got a gray dial. You got the red roulette wheel date. You got the red date. The red date. Rose gold. Is it rose gold? I think it's rose gold. And you got the good clasp. Look at this. This is the real clasp. This is the hidden. This is not tomato can. This is the real deal. This is the real this is the real bracelet. This is what you want. You want this bracelet. How much is this? What? 10 grand. That's a little expensive. What is this? Rose gold? Yellow gold. Yellow gold, yeah. Man, that's a beautiful watch. Look at this. Don't pay, and I mean, don't pay. Do not pay. This should be like 9 grand. And by the way, I would get the one you really want is the blue dial steel on the Jubilee. That's the one that you want, and that's going to be like. And by the way, they have not dropped in value. They haven't. They're around. Yeah, they haven't changed in price in the last, let's call it, 5 years. These watches have not changed in price. They went up a little bit, and after the so-called bubble burst, they're back down to the same price. They haven't changed at all. Basically, if you bought this 5 years ago, that's what it is today. And but you shouldn't pay more than like 8,500 grand for it. And definitely you want the blue dial, not this. Although I wouldn't throw this away. I mean, this is nice. But and I think the chronograph actually has upside. The chronograph is the watch to buy because at some point the tomato cans are going to realize that it's the real deal. That's the real watch that has, the whole story, the bullshit story, the military heritage, blah, blah, blah. The first real sports watch with a rotating bezel. Look at this, 4 grand. Original bracelet. Wow. And this is a tomato can. This is the real tomato can bracelet. 1960s. Thunderbird. So yeah, you can get like, I mean, this is what I would get if I were to get like, if I wouldn't buy it on this, but if I were to get it, I'd get like something like this, from the yeah, actually not that bad, That one is a little bit too banged out, but you get the idea. Yeah, I don't know why they and it looks pretty good on a strap also. Yeah, again, you got to get the right one. Some of the model years are a little bit whatever, but they're definitely coming back. They are definitely going to come back into style very soon. I've been saying that for a few years. I've been wrong so far. Okay, this is the one you want, basically. This is a bad picture, but you get the idea. But on the Jubilee, you got to get it. There you go. That's the watch. I mean, you tell me something's wrong with that. But again, you want it on the Jubilee, not this oyster. Here, you got the modern bracelet. See, that's the modern non-tomato. That's the modern non-tomato solid bracelet. Anyway, yes, yes, yes.
Month, you'll lose half the money moving it on. Probably even more than half. I owned a Squally. It cost £900. I ended up selling it on consignment with a grey market dealer. And the only way I could get rid of it was telling that grey market dealer, just give me half of what you get for the watch. I also had a Devosa, same thing, £900 Devosa. I said to the same grey market dealer, just get this sold for me and we'll split the money 50-50. Again, about 250 for that watch. Let's call this.
He bought a Squally. Oh my God, look at this. So, this guy, this Brendan Boswell. I mean, he's got, I don't know, he's got questionable taste. I mean, listen, he bought the Squally. He probably from watching the Urban Gentry guy and whatever. Then he moved on to Rolex. But yeah, he's completely right. If you buy any of these shitter brands, you're gonna lose all your money. Basically, it's gone. Like you're better off. Look, there's an old expression: the rich get richer and the poor get poorer, and it's because of things like this. You're much better off, spending, I should say, investing $7,000. You can get a decent Rolex. Let's call it 5 grand. You can get a decent Rolex for 5 grand. That we're talking about. There's a lot of different models, vintage models, whatever, for 5 grand, and that's going to be liquid gold. That money that watch actually is going to increase. The vintage Rolex you buy today, pretty much all of them for 5 grand will be increasing. They'll be worth more in 5 years. But if you buy the Squally for $1,000, you buy the Tag Heuer, you buy the whatever it is for $1,000, $2,000, it's going to be completely worthless. You're going to lose that money. Whereas the Rolex is actually okay. So this is the truth.
Moon's watch behind me, a micro brand, that's a dead loss. I could probably struggle to even give that watch away now, and definitely in 5 years, that watch will be absolutely worthless. I knew buying that watch that I was throwing the money away. As part of my channel, I was going to purchase another watch from a micro brand, knowing what I was getting into. The watch was MSRP £1,050. They offered me a discount, 15% discount on the watch, which to me is odd because it's a micro brand. When I can get a Panerai at 25% off, I can get 25%.
Hold on a second. So this is something called Nomadic. I don't know what this is. They're selling this watch for $1,500, which is like a disgrace. I mean, it's a tomato can watch. I do have to say there is a micro brand called what is it called? It's called it'll come to me, and they sell watches for like $500. It's called Baltic, and from what I understand, they're well-made mechanical watches that are actually respectable, like amongst people who are into watches. They're respectable watches, very honest design. They don't try to be something that they're not. They're just an honest mechanical watch for like $500, and I think some models might be a little bit more expensive. But I think if you buy a Baltic watch for $500, you'll be okay. You'll sell it for like what, 300? I don't know. I mean, I don't know how much could it drop. They're pretty, they're well-known watches, mechanical watches. But if you buy a like the higher end Baltic, I think you're going to get stuck because when it comes to spending $2,000, then people have a lot more options. They're not going to. I don't think they're going to buy Baltic. But I can't believe it. This guy was even thinking about why would somebody want this? Looks like a fake Rolex Explorer.
Tudor. No, this micro brand seems to value its product so much it would not budge on a 15% discount.
Wow.
That means if I bought the watch, I would have to pay £900 for the watch, and if I didn't like the watch, I would lose £450 moving it on if I was lucky. That would
look at that. I can't believe. First of all, why would he even want to buy? Why would this guy want to buy this watch? Why would he even want to buy it? He's got an Explorer, right? Why would he need this like quartz shit or whatever this is? I don't know what this is. Why would he need that? It's like, some of these people, I don't understand why they need to keep buying like random watches, like random shitter watches. Like, why do they need it? I don't even know why he buys an Explorer. I don't even understand this guy, why he buys the Explorer 1, the 2, whatever. Like, he already has the Yachtmaster 40, right? Which is, a beautiful watch. It does everything you want. How do you buy a Yachtmaster 42 tone and then you buy an Explorer? I don't understand that. That's like saying, hey, You know what? I'm gonna buy a Bentley. You know what? I have a Bentley, but at the same time, you know what? I'm gonna buy just just to get around. And I'm gonna put the same amount of miles. I'm gonna buy like a Ford Focus. So I'm gonna buy a Bentley and a Ford Focus. Those are gonna be my two everyday cars. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. Okay. Okay, if you got a Bentley and you want like an everyday beater, maybe okay, you get a Mercedes. Okay, you get like a Mercedes wagon. Okay, that's kind of cool. Or whatever. But you don't get like why and this guy just buys 3 Ford Focuses and a used Honda Civic. That's what this guy's doing. I don't understand that. Just stick to like the one Rolex and be done.
Would be a 50% dead loss. Within 5 years, the watch would be worthless. It would, because it's not a Rolex. Because I create content, I was willing to take a hit, but I wasn't willing to take that much of a hit. If that company had given me 30% off the watch and say I bought it for £735, knowing that it was really only worth £450, after fees, before fees, who knows, but I'm pretty sure I could get £450 back, I still knew I would lose £285 just to show you a watch on my channel that is not as good as a Rolex. And again, in 5 years' time, the watch will be worthless. The point of this video is stop listening to these YouTubers who have an ulterior motive. Every time these guys are talking about micro brands, they're getting paid.
That's right. They're getting paid. They're scammers. Watch out for these grifters. You got that grifter of Venice. You got the grifter of Venice. You got the grifter of London. And then you got the grifter of Long Island City, or I don't know where he lived. Where does the Dirty Sanchez aristocrat live? I think he was in Long Island City before, or Astoria or somewhere. Is he in Manhattan proper these days? I don't know. I don't know, but he was, I think, somewhere in the outskirts, somewhere in the boonies, in the bridge and tunnel lands, in the bridge and tunnel. I'm going to call him the bridge and tunnel. I'm going to call him the bridge and tunnel aristocrat. That's right. That's the bridge and tunnel aristocrat. That's the new name for urban gentry. What's his name? Tristano, whatever he calls himself. That's the bridge and tunnel aristocrat.
They're not being honest with you. They are trying to get you to literally throw your money away on garbage. If I can help one person in this video to think, you know what, I'll think to myself, I will go and buy a Rolex Explorer 40 because according to Brenny, 5 years' time, I can get my money back.
Brenny.
You can take that to the bank. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And I'll catch you.
Brenny.
It's about existing.
Okay, hang on. By the way, look at this. Look, we're talking about shitter brands. On this video, we're talking about, and I told you this algorithm is so good on YouTube. So it identifies whatever you're talking about. It just serves you those ads. So look at this. We're talking shitter brands, and look what I get served.
It's about representing something, surprising everyone, making suddenly
a shitter
horologery exciting for so many people.
Exciting because
it's more interesting to be different.
It's more interesting to be different. It's more interesting to be different. Different. Vive la différence. Listen, this Chapek is a shitter brand. It's a super shitter. Yeah, I know it has some vague like associations, blah blah blah. There's a story, a backstory, with the Patek backstory. Like the black sheep story, whatever. You don't want this. They're shitter watches. You know who got one? I think Watch Nicholas got one. And he took a big bet. I'm actually surprised. Why would he buy one? Like that's kind of like of all the watches. Like, why that one? You know what I mean? It's like he took a bath. I remember why. He also has bad taste. That Watch Nicholas has horrible taste when it comes to watch. He's got that tomato can taste. I think him and what's his name? I think him and the Aussie expat should get married. They should get one of those gay marriages. This watch, is that the guy? Who's that? I think the guy's Danish, right? The guy's Danish. Yeah, this guy. This tomato can. Hang on a second. Let me show you this tomato can. So this tomato can did a video where he explains. I don't know. He did a whole thing. But anyway, listen. This guy. I saw. He has like 40 watches. This tomato can. Just a random shitters, like random, like, and he's like, it doesn't make any sense. He's got like. He has the AP Royal Oak chronograph, right? Which is, theoretically a heavy hitter watch. I mean, I would never buy. I mean, this guy knows he knows watch. He's a very smart guy. This guy's like an intelligent guy. Like, no, this guy knows this is a smart guy, right? And he understands watches. He really does. But he's got the worst fucking taste. And I'm surprised he has the AP chronograph black dial. Like, of all the chronographs in the world, why would anybody buy an AP? Like, I get it if you buy a Daytona, that's best of breed. I kind of get it if you buy the Omega, because that also it really is. Yeah. Actually, some vintage Omegas are beautiful. There's some vintage Omegas which have like a day and date and the chronograph and a moon phase. There's actually good deals. And but this guy is like buying an AP chronograph, which is notorious for breaking. I mean, they're notorious. Basically, you can't even use them because they break. And oh yeah, that's right. The Grifter Venice. It is. I gotta tell you, it's a pure shitter watch. I'm gonna pull it up just to insult these guys. I'm gonna insult these guys. Let me just pull this up, just so the peasants who don't know, just so the peasants need to know. So we're talking about this watch, basically. I'm going low to high. How much are they low to high now? Wow, they're really dropping a lot. Shit. Whoa, I'm actually surprised. Is this correct? There's a bunch of 27 grand? So this is like this is the like 2005 or whatever. This is the older one. But it looks just like the new one. You can't tell the difference. Again, this is like, you're getting the new tapisserie, right? This is the bright tapisserie that you want. The tapisserie is beautiful. Look at that. That's the nice, clean tapisserie. Again, the problem I have with the watch is, I want to enjoy the tapisserie. I don't want those stupid subdials. There's too many. There's just too much going on. There's like too much. There's a fine line. Like, you can do one or two, but here you got 3 subdials and you got the date. Wow, I'm surprised. Okay, so this is again, previous generation, but I'm surprised they're so cheap. And this is rose gold. Wow. Listen, I haven't I haven't even looked at these prices ever, because frankly, I'm not interested. But look at this. I mean, I gotta tell you, it's not a bad deal for 28 grand for a Royal Oak complication. Of course, you don't want to buy it because it's a shitter watch. They're known to be very, very finicky. This is the new. I think, is this the new one? I don't know, but basically this is what they have. They get the newer version of this. It's the newer version. So how much is the cheapest of the new versions? Is this no? We got to. I don't even know the reference number of the new one. Hang on a second. I may have to go somewhere here, right? 30 grand. They should be about like 30 grand for the brand new one. No, this is the old one still. Okay, maybe I'm wrong. 35 grand. I don't know. Anyway, look. Bottom line is, the reason you don't want this piece of shit is 2 reasons. Number 1 is, when it comes to Royal Oak, you want to enjoy the beautiful tapisserie dials that they have. Number 2 is, you do not want a black tapisserie dial. Okay, because the black tapisserie dial doesn't have any of the play with the light. That's what you want. When it comes with the Royal Oak, you want something which has the there we go. You got this. The light bounces off there. You can't. You have to see it in person to understand. But it's beautiful. It's very, very well done. So it's very busy. They break all the time. I don't know. I don't know why somebody would want that instead of why would somebody want that instead of a day date? You want to go back to Brit? Brit, this guy loves Brit. I don't know. I don't know. You think she's good looking at Brit? I mean, I don't know. She's got like a funny. She's funny looking. Seriously, she is funny looking. I mean, like there's something. She's like funny looking. I don't think she's gonna age well. She's kind of funny looking. I mean, come on. I mean, I don't mind looking at Blondie. At least Blondie knows how to, she's got the makeup, she's got the low-cut shirts with the cleavage, she's got personality, at least her, she's entertaining, right? The Brit Pierce, she's got that like scratchy voice. She's got this weird accent. Like, I don't know where they get this weird accent from, like some sort of weird accent. It's not a Canadian, it's some sort of weird accent. And look, for 30 grand. So I can't. So this guy. So listen. This is a okay. So you got this tomato can, this Danish tomato can, right? I'm gonna pull this up. So the Danish tomato can paid like I don't know, 30 grand or whatever it was, 35 grand for for his chronograph, which is a piece of shit, which is going to be dead money and lose value. Or he could have gotten a white gold Daytona Blue Dial. This watch is going to increase in value, and you should be able to get these for under 40 grand. How much are they new? I don't know how much. I really don't know. I have no idea. But I know that on the secondary, they should be like really like high 30s, like 30, yeah, like high 30s, 35, 36 grand. These seem, I don't know. I think maybe the prices may have picked up. Yeah, these prices do move around a lot. I think the prices may have picked up a little bit. I think the prices may have picked up because I remember seeing one for like 36 grand. So let's just say, yeah, it's like high 30s, let's say, whatever. I don't know, 40. I don't like 40. I don't like the way that sounds, but for 35 grand, I would almost buy one because I just think they're going to be a valuable watch at one point, even though I'm not a fan. Yeah. Yeah, that's the one. She's got good lips. She's got those. Well, I don't want to say things about. It's not right. But you know what I'm saying. It's. But this is the watch to get. But this tomato can. He's got 40 watches. 90% of them are shitters, and he's talking about like. Hang on a second. This is the video I think I saw. Okay, here we go.
With Lucid, IT teams don't have to start from square one. Need a work order process?
Imagine for a second there's an Excel sheet filled with years of information about watch collecting from a person that has a ton and has owned a ton of watches. You think you could learn something from that? Do you think there's something to just...
So this guy, of course, you know that this guy has an Excel sheet. Okay, he does. And who else has an Excel sheet? The Aussie expat. You got that, I think, Boston collector guy. You got these spreadsheet bros. You got the spreadsheet collectors. I think anybody who's got a spreadsheet, it means two things. One is they have too many watches that they need to keep track of, and most likely they're shitter watches. Okay, that's what that means to me. I think I think really there's no real point of having more than 8-10 watches. More than 8-10, there isn't, unless because if you go beyond 8, and I understand it's possible. Like, listen, over time, you as you get older, let's say you buy a watch every couple of years, every whatever. starting in your 20s, you buy a watch every couple of years, you know, in 20 years, you'll have, you know, a dozen watches, whatever, right? And some of them will stick around. In 10 years, you'll have 8 watches, right? Maybe sooner. Doesn't, you know, but the only reason you should have more than 8 watches is if you're actually going to be buying watches for investment. And I do mean that. You can make money. Like, look, I've shown you on this channel, yes, there are watches that increase in value. Like, I don't want to get into the whole thing, but the watches we've been talking about, right? The double, triple in value. So if you're going to go for those watches, like you're going to basically be, I don't want to use the word investor. You're going to be a speculator. Okay. You're going to speculate because it's a speculation. Well, actually, it's more like an investment because there is a better chance of, you know, but so then, you know, you can buy 100 watches and you can have a spreadsheet. If you're going to go into the kind of investing, like legitimately investing, I'm talking about like you're going to be buying like vintage stuff. You're going to buy maybe like that, you know, let's say if you're an investor, okay, you can buy this watch as an investment if you pay 35 grand because yeah, it'll be worth, you know, it'll increase above the rate of inflation. It'll probably increase like 10% a year plus. But outside of this, there's very, very few new models of Rolex that have that. Very few. And again, I'm not pushing it. I don't give a shit about Rolex. I don't give a shit about the Daytona. But yeah, in Patek Philippe, there are certain models like the 3940. 3940, I believe, is going to be from where it is today, another double. And it's already doubled. So, you know, and the Ellipse also will be a double from here. So that's the type of stuff. Yeah, you can buy, you know, a dozen, 20 watches in, you know, those various niches. Like, and there's a bunch of them. It's easy to do that, right? But this tomato can and all these spreadsheet bros are buying shitter watches, okay? He's going to tell you what he's got. Hang on, I'm going to put him on super speed because I'm not interested in what he's got to say, really. Hang on a second. But he's got a spreadsheet.
Deep dive into because it's interesting. Well, I've got that Excel sheet. It's my Excel sheet.
Yeah.
Let's just assume that there are 40 currently owned watches in the Excel sheet. With that,
he's got 40 watches. This tomato can has 40 watches, okay? And most of them are shitter watches. This actually, it's a good video. Maybe we'll do a
over time. My most worn watch.
Okay, his most worn watch is this tomato can, which is the chronograph Royal Oak. Again, wrong color. You got that, I don't know, dark dial, whatever. And again, okay, what I guess the watch, okay, you know, you'll impress young boys, basically. You know, you're not going to impress any real collectors, any real people who have taste. You're not going to get laid. Well, maybe with some gutter snipes in Miami who are basically looking to drug you because they know how to spot a Royal Oak. But you know,
has only been the most.
Maybe you'll get robbed in London, but outside it's basically a shitter watch.
Worn watch twice in a row in
Daytona, much better.
In year period. 25% of my watches make up 75% of the usage. Logic dictates that a selection, for me at least, would be 8 to 12 watches. That would be the right size.
I agree. Yeah, that's right. That's the most you should have. I mean,
size of a collection if the goal was to get the most usage out of all watches. There's no correlation whatsoever between watch price and how much a watch gets used. The 3 watches I've worn most over the last 5 years represent one of my most expensive watches, one of my absolute cheapest watches, and one bang in the middle. I've also got another Excel sheet, and I can tell from that Excel sheet that people subscribing is the
He's got multiple Excel sheets.
best indicator of whether or not I'm making worthwhile videos. So 2 watches per year, every single year. I have to budget.
He services 2 watches a year. So, and you know, this guy is anal. This guy's very anal. So even though he doesn't have to service them, he's servicing watches constantly. Right, which is, by the way, it's getting expensive now.
For this, since I'm not using my watches as much, overall the servicing needs are going to drop compared to what you would expect, but they're still there. I've also learned to take them to an AD or a watchmaker before they start exhibiting problems, because those problems almost always lead to high repair costs. I have the AD do a quick accuracy check, they open the case, bundle to service every time. I would definitely say that if you're buying a watch over $50,000 and you don't have unlimited funds, I would build in a budget for servicing. High horology, and the higher up you go, it just takes ages to repair, it's expensive, and you wait a long time to get your watch back. That's all.
By the way, this is 100% true. So if you're going to buy a perpetual calendar, you actually have to have 2. You got to have one that you're going to wear, and then you have one because at some point the other one has to go into service. So you got to have one to wear while the other one is in the shop. It's kind of like the old Rolls Royces. You had to have 2 back in the day. You had to have one to wear, and because one was always in the shop. Yeah, listen, 3 watches I think is more than enough. Yeah. I think the 3 is fine. You know, like this thing with people, oh, I gotta have collection. Oh, I gotta have 10 watches. I gotta have, oh, I'm a collector. Oh, I'm a special person. I mean, they're hoarders. They're hoarders. It's not collectors. They're hoarders. They are hoarders. Okay. These guys with a tomato can Rolex are hoarders. With the Tudors and all that bullshit, the Omega, they're hoarding shitter watches.
Apart from Rolex and Omega, pretty much any brand that leans on Solita or classic ETA movements are going to be reasonably solid and super cheap to repair. I've only ever had 2 watches get magnetized. It was a JLC and a Seiko. My most expensive repair was a Breitling, but at the time I basically hadn't learned anything about it, so I was so banged up that I just needed basically everything replaced. I would again say never delay servicing. I've never cracked a sapphire crystal. Hesalite, you breathe on the thing and it just gets scratched and you kind of learn to enjoy it. As a general rule, I don't get the case polished. I've learned to appreciate the scratches and it saves me some money. Hollow end links can get super gunky, so clean your watches. Yeah, that's something I track as well. Value retention and pricing. For me, value retention as a concept is absurd. It's absurd because I'm always good to have. Generally, I would probably advise myself not to go on vacation because I always end up buying watches on longer vacations, especially if I go to Italy. For some reason, Italy is expensive when it comes to watches because that's where I end up buying them. So I would save money by not ever going to Italy.
Enjoy complimentary access to Sapphire Lounge by the Club with Chase Sapphire Reserve.
Hey, it's me, your skin. Some cleansers get us clean, but take my moisture. CeraVe cleansers help.
I categorize my watches in 4 buckets. So I've got my luxury watches, which are gold and complications. Then I've got dress watches, smart and all-round watches, and casual watches. I've got by far the most casual watches, but it's the smart or all-rounds of Aquaterra style
I
watches.
mean, look at this. This guy's got like he's hoarding. He's like a hoarder of watches. He's got like boxes full of shitters. I mean, these are all like, you know, $1,000, $2,000, $5,000 watches that just drop in
To
value.
get the most use. I hardly ever wear my dress watches. Blue dials and black dials dominate my collection, but sometimes navy with a center line. So I've got these 40 watches.
How did you know? How did you know he's got? Of course, he's got the Grand Seiko.
Every year, on average, I consider somewhere between 5 and 10 new watches. Over the 20 years that I've had the Excel sheet, I've considered 180 different watches to vary.
I mean, he keeps track of watches that he's thinking about on a spreadsheet.
Degrees. Most of them are quickly forgotten, never ever make the cut. And the more I collect, the fewer watches I actively consider. There's a clear statistical correlation between the time that went from when I first noted the watch down as a possible option to when I bought it and how much use it actually ends up getting. The longer I wait, the more I use it and the longer it stays in my collection. Also, there's no correlation.
Interesting. Okay. By the way, this guy's a very smart guy. I'm not knocking his. I'm just saying he's got bad taste. But he very smart guy. I respect his opinion. He's very well thought out.
Between the price of the watch and the time it takes me to make up my mind. I essentially spend the same amount of time deciding on a $20,000 watch as I do on a $200 watch. Seiko is my most popular brand, but they don't quite ever make it into the most worn category. They're almost always in this 10 to 25 core group more often than not. So far, I already know.
How many Seikos do you think this guy has? This guy's probably got a dozen Seikos.
About 1 month in, that my new Zenith is probably going to be in the top 4 of usages this year.
Zenith, Seiko. I mean, again, you know, how do you go from? Again, this guy makes no sense. How do you have an AP Royal Oak chronograph, and then you have a Zenith? Because this Zenith, I would say, I would rather have this Zenith, frankly, this Zenith than that Royal Oak. Well, not this one, but you know, the Zenith chronograph is the legitimate chronograph. The Royal Oak is like a Fugazi.
Other things that are interesting to note, the watches that I bought at ADs and not online or through a grey dealer get worn more, and they stay in my collection much longer as a result. I think it's down to the fact that I've tried the watch more before buying it, and going to a grey dealer or going online just might mean that I've had less hands-on before buying. So my suggestion to other people, if it's anything like me, is get your hands on that watch before you buy it.
It's a good point, yeah, because a lot of times I've had this where, you know, the watch, it's you have to see the watch. You really do want to see it on your wrist because there is a difference in the way it looks in the daylight, the way it looks, you know, actually how it actually fits on your wrist, the shape. It's not just the size, it's also the shape.
It's going to lead to better buying decisions. It does at least for me. My most expensive mistake was a Lange Saxonia. I paid, give or take, 20,000 euros for it, and I wore it 14 times. So I sold it for 17,000 euros.
I mean, obviously this guy's got a Lange.
Year and a half. That equates to renting the watch at about 214 euros, $250 per use. Beautiful watch.
Shitter watch.
That was a disaster after buy.
Disaster.
I can also tell that if I buy another watch that complements one of my favorite watches, it actually doesn't replace it. It often supplements the usage. Buying something that is radically different from what I...
How many chronographs does this guy have? He must have like a dozen chronographs.
Usually...
His collection is super redundant. It's like a bunch of like just nasty vinyl shitters.
You know, like, often doesn't work out as well. I've got space for 1 to 2 of what I consider quirky watches. More than that, and most of them will never ever get worn after a year. I kind of default to 1 or 2 of those quirky watches. That's more than enough for me. And the other thing I know, I'm clearly obsessed about with watches, and I'm insane for having an Excel sheet, but I really hope you enjoyed the video.
Okay, anyway, the guy's a tomato can. I mean, listen, again, I respect this guy's opinion. I think he's a very bright guy. He's got terrible taste. And, you know, this is, you know, you don't want to be like this guy. You don't want to end up with a bunch of, exactly. It's a scam. It's a real scam. He does mention this. Yeah. In-house, fuck your in-house movements. I'd much rather have, you know, a watch which has got like a reliable movement from, you know, JLC or whatever, right? That JLC is the watchmaker's watchmaker. You know, AP uses them, Vacheron, Patek uses them at some point. You know, it's they're the real deal. So and they're reliable. They've perfected it, right? So why would I want to take a chance on some, you know, tomato can? Nobody, you know what? Listen, nobody really cares. Nobody gives a shit about your in-house movement at the end of the day. You know, if it's if it's a legitimate brand like a JLC that makes it, you know, it's reliable, and nobody cares. I mean, you're what people want is that they want to see what's on the outside, and you know, they want to know that, okay, the inside is reliable. That's it. Yeah. Yeah, I think this guy's probably like some sort of like a marketing consultant. What is he like, Danish or something? Like he probably works at like McKinsey, or like he probably has some sort of grifter job at like with the EU, some sort of like bureaucratic. He's like probably an outsourced consultant to like some EU agency, and he basically scams them for money each month. He probably like overbills them, and yeah, like some. Oh, here's my okay. There you go. There you go. Danish. I can't tell Danish accents. I wouldn't know. I don't think I've met actually too many Danes. I don't know. I don't even know where that country is. I have no idea. Is it like near Kakistan or Bukiakistan? It's somewhere in one of those Chomostan countries. I think Denmark is theoretically. I think they're theoretically Scandinavian. Right? I think theoretically they're Scandinavian, Southern Scandinavia or something. I don't know. It's like, where the hell is that country? I mean, who cares? It's like Canada. It's like, I mean, Denmark might as well be Canada. Like nobody even knows where it is. I mean, but here's the thing though, with the Danes, they are really very good at design. Like that's why I'm surprised that this guy has these tomato can watches, because, you know, Denmark has historically done beautiful design, classic, very modern, you know, it's you know, relatively minimalist, I would say, but very beautiful design, rosewood, like, you know, furniture, mid-century modern furniture. They're known for pastries, good pastries, and I think coffee also. Yeah. So that's right, these grifters, these that's how this guy has so many watches. He's grifting the EU. He's probably doing some sort of like studies on, I don't know, transgender migrants or some sort of like thing like that. You know, where best, you know, hiring practices, some sort of nonsense. And so he's been on the grift. This guy's been on the grift for 20 years plus. He's been working that spreadsheet for 20 years. And he's probably the guy that's like, you know, doing grifting about the vaccine. That's right. He's probably the one that spread the thing about, oh, you got to get the vaccine and you got to get 5 vaccines and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, that's when he was able to buy the chronograph, the Royal Oak chronograph, because what do you call it? Because of the COVID vaccine that he was grifting. All right, that's it. We're going to wrap up. Thank you to our show sponsors, Baron Davidson. We grifted at $20. Wow, shit. Now, you know, I think I'm done with these fucking live streams. You know, listen, this is insulting, right? This is like what for $20? What are we doing here? What are we doing here for $20 as content? I mean, this is insulting. That's it. Okay, guys, no more live streams until we get some donations. Seriously, this is it. I'm telling you, this is my last live stream until we get like some major donations. It's just it's fucking not worth my time. So go fuck yourselves.